السلام عليكم، مرحبا بكم في برنامجكم هذا علم وحضارة سيانس السيفيليزاسيون. اليوم سنذهب معكم في ميدان التربية ولفرح كبير لحضور السيد السي السي امحمد علي السي امحمد. سنتكلم بالإنجليزية. I'm so sorry you accepted this invitation in this program, this TV show. You are professor of educational issues, I may say. So you are now working with the University of Mohammed VI Polytechnics, the site in close to Rabat, close to the place where we are now present. So before going further in your field of education, please let us know more about the training you have, about your childhood as well, how you grow up in this country. I think you are from Morocco afterward.
Yes, thank you so much for inviting me. It's my pleasure to accept this invitation.
Thank you.
And it's my pleasure to speak about my career, my professional and personal life, and at the same time to share with the audience what I have done and my contributions and more to come in the future, inshallah.
Inshallah.
As you said, yes, I'm from Morocco.
Agadir, I think you are.
No, I'm from Ouarzazate.
Ouarzazate,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm from Ouarzazate.
But you have some trainings in Agadir.
Yes, yes. So I was born and raised in a region about 70 kilometers south of Ouarzazate called
give us
Agdes.
the name of the location.
Yeah, it's actually, I was raised in a small zawiya called Zawiyat Uzdin in Agdes, south of Ouarzazate, as I said, towards Zagora.
Okay.
And
we say hello to everybody from there.
Hello to everybody from Uzdin in Uzdin and also in Ouarzazate.
Okay. Berberian region.
Yes, it's a Berber region. That's right. So I, as a little child of 6 years old, my father, we already immigrated to the city of Ouarzazate from the little town of less than 7,000 people, which is Zawiyat Uzdin. And I started my education in Ouarzazate for most part, my what we call in America K-12, elementary, middle school and secondary education.
Okay, until high school.
Until high school. I did my baccalaureate in Ouarzazate. And then I went to the university in Ibn Zohr in Agadir, where I did my bachelor's degree.
What was the field?
Yes, I was. It's in English literature and in English literature, in English in general.
Okay.
We call it English language and literature.
That's of course, because it's about practicing the language, but it's also about to know more about civilization of all English countries.
Exactly, that's exactly how it is. It's called اللغة الإنجليزية وآدابها. So I got my my degree in linguistics, more specifically. Bachelor's degree in linguistics. That's the specialty, and and after that, and after doing some teaching in Morocco, I left to United States to do my master's degree.
Okay.
And after
in the state of New York?
Yes, I was in the state of New York. I was more specifically at a college, at a university in the States. They say college. So at a university called Duville College.
Buffalo.
Or Duville University in Buffalo, New York. It's in upstate New York. It's an amazing, because I went from Ouarzazate, which is hot
yes.
to Buffalo, which is
very cold.
Which is very cold. Yes, it's a very cold state.
Was it so difficult to adapt?
To adapt, yeah. It was difficult in the beginning.
Yeah.
But I had to adjust. Yeah, you adjust to things, but it's very difficult all the time.
So it's there where you got your graduate studies, and of course the PhD afterwards.
The PhD, yes, the PhD. I got my PhD in the State University of New York, in Buffalo. Yeah, because the state universities, there are more than 29 campuses around New York State. So, and one of them is State University of New York. It's a big research university.
Okay. Yeah. And what were your motivations to be involved in educational issues?
That's a great question. So what I did is, like I said, I did linguistics, and then education, meaning teaching.
Oh, yeah.
And then I did my PhD in the educational leadership and policy department. I became a policy analyst in education. So these three areas have actually constituted or formed or put together my career. So as a linguist, I understood that the medium of language is an important aspect in communicating, teaching, and learning. In communicating anything at this point. So I found out from linguistics, or I understood very well, that in order to be a good teacher or educator, you have to make sure that you understand language, and the medium of language is going to help transfer knowledge and understand knowledge. Then I decided, okay, now I want to be a teacher. So I did my master's degree in secondary education in the United States, and I did some teaching in high schools in the United States before I went to do my PhD. And when I was a teacher,
so you got much practice in Morocco, in the States, always teaching.
Yes, always teaching.
So you practice what you were theorizing about.
Exactly, and then I decided after some teaching that it's very important for me, in order to advance more, to actually understand policy and understand education policy more specifically, and to understand how policy is designed, how it's implemented, and how more specifically how it is evaluated. So I became a policy analyst and a policy evaluator.
Yes, it's completely your field now, the evaluation of education, because you think we cannot just let aside all this question of assessing education when we are involved in education. We have to always evaluate the system. Does it work? Does it fit with the context? And when we see all what you did in your career, we see that this question of evaluation is the main question for you to enter this field of education.
Yes, you are exactly right. For me, the reason, or what led me directly to evaluation and measurement and assessment, these three components, is that everything we do in life in general, even personally, we evaluate ourselves. Are we doing the right things? Are we not doing the right things?
Hopefully we have to evaluate. Many people do not evaluate.
I think evaluation is a very important component in our lives. And in
to know the steps we are in.
Exactly. And in education more specifically, because that's my area of specialty. So I was thinking that there is less evaluation in education, not only in Morocco, but all over the world, especially in different developing countries. The system is done, or the system is designed, or the policy of education is designed mostly a while ago as though we only need to teach and students to learn. But I think there is more to that, which is we teach and we learn, but at the same time, we want to make sure if we teach well and if students are learning well. And in order to do that, we have to set the system with the idea of making sure that there is data or information that we are going to use in order to evaluate how we are doing in our teaching and how students are doing in terms of learning.
Yes, you speak about students, very important, because you think that we have also to put completely, to put in our thoughts this idea that how to supervise students. And it is, this question is one of the assessment, the evaluation you are dealing with. How to supervise the student. It's not just, I'm a teacher, I give my course and so bye-bye. No, I have also to see how to supervise them. That is one of your questions.
Yes. Actually, as a scholar, I developed myself more in research in education. I have published more than 40 articles in the area of education and chapters in the books and stuff. So this idea of education evaluation is something that I am very much interested in, and I'm still doing a lot of work in that area. And you're right, one of the things that I raised in different contexts, by the way, I'm more of an international scholar.
Yeah, we will be speaking about it.
And we will talk about that later. But I think evaluation of student or learning of the students is much related to how teachers are transferring knowledge to them, either formally or informally. By formally, I mean in the classroom. There is an hour, for example, or 2 hours that students need to learn this or that, and there is a lesson plan involved, and there is a teacher delivering the lesson plan, and there is interaction and so forth, and there is a pedagogy. In supervision, it's more informal. Where teachers are mentoring students. They are guiding students in their research.
Out of the class?
Out of the
class
class
as well? No.
Yeah, in the class and out of the class, both. But what really concerns me more is when the teacher, because the formal one in the class, we can always supervise it. We can always look whether it's going well or not. But the one that's supervision outside of the class is what concerns me more, because that's where we are trying to make sure that our students know how to do work independently and how to think about the work that they are doing and how they are doing something that is valuable for themselves in terms of writing their own research.
And you are focusing on the specific obstacles, problems they may have, because it's not like having all the students in the class. You are not always aware of some difficulties, but by monitoring them out of the class, you see more what fits to this one, which will not fit to the other, and that's important. You mentioned just earlier that you have a very great international experience. After the US, you had the opportunity to work in Central Asia, Kazakhstan mainly, and you have all these paper about post-Soviet educational system. And so after Morocco, after the US, you have all this region of the world, and also you see that many African students as well are in Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan and these countries. So there are many questions. The first question is how is it that you it happens that you were there? It's not so logical idea to leave the United States for the Kazakhstan region. And then what have you learned from these transition systems as post-Sovietic systems in this area of the world?
Thank you for the questions. I'll answer the first question about what led me to
Yes.
these parts of the world. When I completed my education in the United States, my PhD more specifically, my doctorate in the United States in Buffalo, and I was already a professor there. Before that, I did some consulting for the World Bank. One of the great things that I did, one of my first projects in the World Bank was the project I did for Morocco, where I did evaluation of financial aid system, la Bourse Sociale, in Morocco. This is a project in higher education in Morocco. This is a project I did with the team in 2000.
World Bank.
Yeah, the World Bank consultancy. After that, I went to the university to be a professor.
Here in Morocco?
No, in the United States.
Still
this is
in the United?
All in the United States.
Okay.
This is after my PhD.
Okay.
After I finished my degree my doctorate degree. And after some years of teaching in the United States at the university level in the School of Education, I wanted to try to go abroad to investigate what's going on outside of the United States, so I can understand the system better. So I applied for a Fulbright scholarship, which is a very prestigious, so I got it in 2011. So they sent me to, so I was sent to serve for 9 months or 1 year, one academic year, in the Baltic states.
Baltic states, before Kazakhstan.
Yeah, before Kazakhstan. So I was a Fulbright scholar in Stockholm School of Economics in Riga in Latvia, in Baltic states. When I got there as a scholar, as a researcher in education, I learned a lot about how education systems are in post-Soviet Union countries, and what they have and what they did in terms of transitioning from the Soviet system, which was mainly centralized, to the system of trying to gain independence, identity for the country, etc. So that's actually what led me later on to understand that working outside of the United States is more beneficial for my research and for my knowledge and for my skills. So after my Fulbright, I applied for the job in Kazakhstan, where the former president Nazarbayev started a new university called Nazarbayev University at the time. So I went there to actually develop programs in education.
New programs.
Totally new programs. We developed 4 master's degrees in education. And we developed 1 PhD program in education as well. So I stayed there for 9 years.
9 years.
Yes, working on issues of education, consulting the government on evaluation on education policies with the ministry and others. So it was a
all the what you learned about the interaction between policy and education. Find the practice field.
Exactly. So I found the fertile field for practicing what I learned theoretically a lot in the United States. So that was good. That was great for me to do that. Now, for your second question, what did I learn from all this experience? I learned a lot. One of the things that I learned, because our culture and our memories, they stay with us all the time when we do research. So when I went to these countries, I learned that these countries are very persistent about what they want. In education, more specifically, I'm talking, and also in the other fields. But since I'm very interested in education, I was watching different countries, post-Soviet Union countries, transitioning with an aim in mind, with goals in mind related to education. So they made education. I'll give you an example. Estonia, for example, they got their independence in 1991 from Soviet regime, and they had what's called curriculum that was more specific on knowledge, more oriented to knowledge and stuff. Not more than that, but they thought about it very well. The country thought about it because they already have a vision about their own country and development. So they started with education.
Yes,
today,
because one of the legacy, the heritage of the Soviet Union is mass education.
Exactly.
So all these countries were completely involved in mass education.
Yes.
So it was not, as in Morocco, we'll speak about Morocco later, but it was not one of the issue, mass education. It was already a question resolved, but
Yes.
the programs were really the issue, what to teach.
Exactly, exactly. So Estonia today in PISA 2022,
Yes.
Estonia now is #1 in Europe in math, science, and reading, and they are #8 internationally.
You have to see what is PISA, this system of evaluation
Yes.
of what is the policy, the educational policy in a country.
Yes.
And now, for example, France is not doing that much good in sciences and mathematics. And you say that Estonia is first.
Estonia. And Estonia is a post-Soviet country.
Exactly, exactly.
Another quick example, just to illustrate your question, is the case of Kazakhstan.
Yes.
So Kazakhstan, they also transitioned from Soviet system.
Yes.
And they put education as one of the priorities of their policy of their policies in the country. And today, Kazakhstan has done an amazing job in relation to how they train their teachers to actually teach towards diversity.
Diversity.
Yeah, because
yes.
Kazakhstan, a lot of people don't know this, but Kazakhstan is actually a very mixed country.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it has a lot of ethnicities.
Oh, yes,
so,
of course.
Yeah, so they have Korean ethnicities, Russian, Belarusian, Turkish, and so on. So they are very much mixed. So they, because they
have to deal with diversity.
Exactly. So now I believe a lot of teachers in Kazakhstan, and I witnessed that myself, they did the best they could, and today they are doing an amazing job in special education, in inclusive education, and also in teaching towards diversity.
It's not that much known about all these countries. Thank you. No, but now we come to the end of our show. It goes so fast, but we have to focus on Morocco. You mentioned that you did already a work for the World Bank for evaluating Moroccan system, and I know by reading all your papers that you have also an assessment of the Moroccan system during the 20th century, I think. And what's the main lessons you got by evaluating the Moroccan system during the last century?
Mm-hmm. Just a quick correction.
Yes, sorry.
I haven't finished yet all the study of assessment.
You are involved in.
Yeah, I am involved in it. We are. My idea is to work on evaluating different reforms that have happened in Morocco during the last almost 70 years of Morocco gaining its own independence.
Before the independence and after the independence.
Well, I'm focused more on the independence part.
Yes.
But obviously, in order for us to evaluate the post independence, we have to know what happened.
Exactly, of course.
Before that, because
it's always a question of continuity.
It's a question of continuity, and it's a question of benchmark.
Yes.
Where we were and where we are going,
exactly.
And that's the whole. And what are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? Or what what are we challenged with as well? So all these things are very important to keep in mind as indicators as we are evaluating what's going on.
So you are in the process.
I am in the process.
Okay.
Yes, I'm in the process currently.
Have you some main ideas about the work you are doing?
I think a quick idea that I have right now in mind. But since I am a researcher, I like to I always want data to inform what I'm doing. So it's a data-driven process. But my quick, we call it in English, hunch, my quick hunch, which is my quick conclusion with a little data that I saw so far is that we have done a lot in terms of developing the infrastructure of our schools, in trying to get education to be a mass education.
Oh, yes.
Yes. However, we still have issues. I think some of them are bigger than what I think personally, which is dropout rates in schools.
That's very important.
Yeah, we have dropout rates. So when
300,000 students are let aside every year.
Yes.
That's amazing number. It's a real an emergency in Morocco, this way of letting aside children out of school.
That's right. And that's actually, when you look at that issue, which is a huge issue for us right now, you are thinking, I'm actually currently investigating why do we have a lot of dropout?
Oh, yes.
So I'm actually working on a paper as we speak about this.
Yes. Please do it, because we need this evaluation to go forward and to address the problem.
Exactly. But my my quick finding so far is that we need to do a lot of work in teacher training.
Oh, yeah.
We need actually to do a lot of work in making sure that our teachers are trained well, to make sure that our teachers are doing a great job in the class. And I think it all goes with what we've been talking about. Teachers have, in order for them to know how to teach the students and transfer the knowledge in the way it should be, I think they have to focus on making sure that they know who are these students, meaning they assess them, they assess their prior knowledge, they assess their knowledge, and they assess how these students can get to a level where I hope we will get our students soon, which is higher order thinking.
Oh, yes. And in the University Mohammed VI Polytechnic, where you are now working, you are doing just research, or have you some trainings as well?
In the University Mohammed VI, I'm in the Institute of Education Sciences.
Yes.
That's our department. This is an institute that started about 4 years ago.
Yes.
And I joined in September 2023 as a full-time professor.
Okay.
But before that, I was actually an affiliated professor with the institute at UMCSP since 2021.
Okay.
So when I was involved, both as a full-time, as a part-time before that, as an affiliated professor, I always had an agenda to do both, to teach and to do research in the education. As we speak right now, I am wearing different hats. I am the director of research at the institute. So we are working on different ways to have a research agenda and a research strategy in education.
About what we say.
Exactly. And the second hat that I have is the director of the PhD program. So we have a PhD program in education, which we built very well with different. We built it following the Western system, more or less the U.S. system.
Yes.
But at the same time, we are following the strategy that the Ministry of Higher Education requires.
And your students, your PhD students, are they now sensitive to this question of evaluation?
Yes,
that's important.
They are sensitive. We have four. So far, we have 4 themes that we are working on with our PhD students as researchers. The first theme is evaluation, measurement, and assessment.
Yes.
The second one is in pedagogies and didactic.
Yes.
And the third one is digitalization.
Oh, yes.
Digitalization. Yes. And technopedagogy, basically. Yeah. And the fourth one is governance in education.
Thank you so much for all these topics you drew for us. Thank you for being with us today. شكرا لاستماعكم وأقول لكم إلى مرة قادمة إن شاء الله.